When I started my own business, I have found that playing it safe will not work. Playing it safe means I will just stay small. I cannot grow. I cannot bring out ideas. I just have to play it safe. So I have to embrace failing. I have to embrace adjusting. It doesn't matter if what I'm doing, if I feel like, oh my goodness, will it work? How do I know if it will work if I won't try it? So playing it safe and staying small was something that really nearly got me stuck for a long time. Welcome to Create Your Own Economy with Bunmi Ajibade, the podcast that empowers corporate professionals ready to break free and transition into entrepreneurship with confidence and clarity, as well as business owners looking to grow and scale their businesses. If you're exhausted from building other people's dreams, leaving you little time or energy to focus on what truly matters to you, you are in the right place. Each week, we provide actionable strategies, expert interviews, and real-life success stories to help you turn your ideas into thriving business. Ready to take bold, clear steps toward life and business you deserve? Let's get started. I used to think that when you work very hard, that will guarantee your success. And I thought also that the safest path was the corporate ladder. You know, I went to college and then you need to go out there to look for a job and take an employment, which I did. I was miserable. And also, I believe that you have to figure things out and get ready, go, because of some businesses that I ran also in the past. Now, I was so wrong on so many levels when I decided to launch my business or businesses. So today I want to share my story with you. I want to share what I had to unlearn to build a successful business, what I had to unlearn from my experience in the corporate world. Welcome again to Create Your Own Economy podcast. So this is my personal story, and I have heard from so many of you sharing your stories with me and, really thinking of who you were in your corporate job and who you really wish to be as a business person, the freedom to take decisions and not being afraid to really go out there and really build a business that you are passionate about. I've heard so many stories, and what I've heard from you and what also went through my mind when I was creating my business and transitioning from the corporate 9 to 5 into becoming a full-time entrepreneur, what I sense is fear. I sense hesitation. And then it took me back to the hesitations that I felt when I was in my corporate 9 to 5. Now, until I started unlearning some things and giving myself permission to do what I know I could do very well without asking for anybody's opinion, whether it was perfect, it was good, whether it aligned with the company culture and stuff like that. Until I started doing that before I could really design the business that works for me instead of being a default based on what I have learned from the corporate world. So today I've just shared my story with you, and this is going to be part 1 because as I begin to unravel some things, as I begin to reflect on what it used to be versus what I'm doing right now, I will come out again and give you part 2, maybe part 3. And I also want to hear your own thoughts, your own journey. Even if you are still in your 9 to 5, what is your thought? What do you think is going to be an issue and how you can begin to resolve them right now. So let's talk about 5 of the old beliefs that I held so much that I thought they were right until I found out they're not right for me in my business. And the first thing is that you need to work hard. You need to be busy. You need to work very long hours so that you can be successful. And I knew even then in the corporate world, that was not true because I worked very hard and worked many hours, but I was denied some promotions that I thought I could get, right? So in corporate world, you see some people rise up and some of them good. They worked very hard. It was well deserved, right? And they rise. But when you talk about business, it is not the hard work. It is not the busy work. Think about your office. Think about some policies, some procedures, some process that are so cumbersome that you are like, can we just remove 3 or 4 layers and really do the work that I was paid to do that can move the needle, right? So I know that it is smart work. It is strategic work. It is making everything clear, not building layers upon layers upon layers of processes is the simple process that will really lead to success in the business. Because, when you have systems that make you work so hard and you're not making anything out of what you're doing because you're just working hard because a boss feels that is how it's supposed to be. Now I know that I have to be strategic. I have to be smart at what I do. Putting 10 steps to a process doesn't make it the best process, doesn't make it a successful idea or does not produce a successful project. So that is number 1. And then number 2 thing in corporate world is that you have to play it safe because maybe you don't have a good relationship with your boss and you don't know what you will do that might put you in trouble, that might make people write you up, give you a query and stuff like that. So you just play safe, stay under the radar. And I know many of you are saying, yes, I did that. Just stay under the radar so that you just do the minimum work or you even go above and beyond, but you play it safe every time. You can't come up with ideas that could work because let's face it, before you were given the job, they already told you how it will work. It's somebody's idea, it's somebody's passion, it's somebody's vision of what your role should be. So playing it safe. But what I have seen is that when you play safe, when I played it safe, it just made me stay small. And I remember when I got a job and I was given a mentor to help me with my onboarding and just the major things that I had to, the major part of my job. And I was doing exactly what I was trained to do. I was doing exactly what I was trained to do. And then I was seeing success. I was being successful. The training department, the upper management, they were seeing my results and they were sending people to come and check what is she doing? Why? She's new and she's getting these results. What is going on? But my mentor made me feel like I was doing something wrong. And then she couldn't take it any longer. And she said, before you came to this company, before you came here, I was the one that people always come to from the upper management. They will always come to me, ask for my opinion, add me on different groups and, but you came and everybody is coming to you. And then the question she asked me was, what are you doing wrong? So she made me think I was doing something wrong. That was why people were coming to me. So remember, playing it safe. So I told myself, I'm not doing any extra thing. I'm just following step 1, 2, 3 exactly as the company has put in the company policy book, and it's giving me success. So when I started my own business, I have found that playing it safe would not work. Playing it safe means I will just stay small. I cannot grow. I cannot bring out ideas. I just have to play safe. So I had to embrace failing. I have to embrace adjusting. It doesn't matter if what I'm doing, if I feel like, oh my goodness, will it work? How do I know if it will work if I won't try it? So playing it safe and stay small was something that really nearly got me stuck for a long time. And it's a mindset that I had to work on, that look, it's my business. I am the business owner. I can do whatever I feel is aligned with the growth of the company. And what if it doesn't work? Then I go back to the drawing board. That is the beautiful part of it. Then number 3 thing that I had to unlearn is that true security comes from stable paycheck. Look, we all know that that is not true. What if you are let go? What if you are sick and you have to take medical leave for 9 months or for 6 months, and your paycheck will be there, but it's like a fraction of what you used to have? So true security does not come from paycheck. I can tell you that. You know where it comes from? It comes from you building a multiple income streams. And I always say this, multiple income streams, because at times one part or one stream might be dry this season. What other stream can you pull from to help you generate income? So true security, income security does not only come from stable paycheck, because that paycheck that somebody writes to you, that somebody gives you, could be taken away from you any time. Then number 4 is that I had to unlearn is asking for help is a form of weakness. You know, you have a project, you have something you are working on, and when you ask questions, when you ask for help, when you ask probing questions and all that, the feeling is like, do you really know your job? And especially when you are in a climate when there's no security in your job, then you want to really pull back from asking for help because you don't want to be seen as a weak link. So you go in, and at that point, people that are very vocal, people that are able to sell themselves even more than they can even achieve, they are the ones that are getting the promotions. They are the ones that are being sent for outside trainings in the company. Not you, because you are asking for help. Now, I saw that and I knew that I needed mentors. When I was in my 9 to 5, I knew I needed mentors. And I had some people, high up, they have moved up in the company and they were doing so well. So I identified, I think there were 3 of them at different times. And I went to them and I said, I would love you to be my mentor, to really help me with my journey, my corporate journey. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I wish. This is where I want to achieve. And this is where I am. And I know you already passed to where I was trying to go. So what can I do to really help me on my journey? Look, those 3 people that I spoke to, none of them had any idea of what it takes to be a mentor. None of them. From that one conversation that I had with them and then I called them, they had no idea because they didn't also have a process. I figured it out later. They didn't have a process themselves for moving up in the company. So it was just like by trial and error. So I left those 3 mentors and I chose 5 people because, as Zig Ziglar said, you're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I looked at my network and I chose 5 people, each of them with what I would love to do. the growth I would love to have in my business, in my personal development. So I met with the 5 of them and I told them, this is where I am. This is the strength I have seen in you, and I want you to help me go through. Again, the same thing. They have no idea what a mentor should do. Look, asking for help is not that you are weak. So when I figured out that I was not getting people they really don't understand, I then started spending money. I hired a coach, hired mentors. I was paying people to help me in different areas. And that was the switch for me. So I can ask for help from people that know, people that have been through a process that can actually help me move through my process. And I was ready to pay them for their knowledge, to pay them. And that has worked so well for me. That has worked so well. So I encourage you, if you are thinking of getting some free mentors, and I was not thinking about being free that time, but I just thought they knew the process they went through to get to where they were going, but I was wrong. But when you hire people, those are people that have gone through a process and they know this is step 1, step 2, step 3, and they can identify those steps. Those are the people that you should spend your time talking to and asking for help from those people. And they will never think that you are weak, but they will be so happy to be part of your success journey. So what I did was investing in my skills, investing in systems that really helped me, and also hiring consultants and people that could help me in the areas that are not my strength. I stayed in my lane, focused on my strength, and I hired other people that will help me in the areas that I'm not really too good at. And the 5th thing that I want to share with you, and I will wrap up, is that I will need to be 100% ready before I start, waiting for perfection. And you see, when you are writing a training, it had to be perfect before we launch out training, before we launch out a project. It had to be perfect. But I found out that the progress that came out with those perfect trainees or perfect projects that we did, the progress was messy because then we started finding loopholes and all that. So, but what I have done as a way of unlearning, having to be 100% ready, is that I began to trust my own vision. It is my vision. I started trusting my vision than my fears, and I started following my growth journey. And I will start a project and I will share it with people. I will ask for feedback, and there are times that I learn together with my clients. I know more than them to support them, but I'm also open to learn from my clients also. Now, what are some of the things that you had to unlearn, when you started your journey or in your entrepreneurial journey? What are some things that you are trying to unlearn right now? Or what are some things that you already, you unlearned years ago, and how has the new process, how is it working for you? I want you to share that. Share that with me. I want to hear from you. That is my own story or some of the things that I had to unlearn. And this is part 1. I have so many, and I will share that with you. And if you have not listened to an episode that I did earlier about unlearning the employee mindset, the truth about becoming an entrepreneur, I will encourage you to go listen to that. I just kind of look through some of the things in general that you have to unlearn as an employee. If my story resonates with you and you are really ready to build your business, and also you are thinking about your transition from 9 to 5 to becoming your own boss, to having your own business, to becoming the entrepreneur, I want you to schedule a time with me. Let's talk. Let's talk and let me see how I can support you, and also your journey and your story, and also figure out some things that you are still stuck in, that you have carried over from your 9 to 5 life. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to Create Your Own Economy with Bunmi Ajibade. I hope this episode gave you the clarity and inspiration to take the next step in your entrepreneurial journey. If you're a corporate professional feeling stuck or unfulfilled, and you are thinking about starting your own business, but find yourself asking, how, what, where, who, or when, I invite you to download my special curated guide, Transition from Corporate Professional to Entrepreneur, the 10-step guide for success. This guide is designed to make your transition smoother and less stressful. Afterward, schedule a clarity call to map out your personalized success path. We invite you to write a review, like, and share this episode with anyone who needs this information. See you in the next episode.